Hello, and thank you very much for attending our powerful webinar today on Business Credit Score Secrets Revealed. Wow, looks like we have a very large group in attendance today. I guess that's very understandable. I mean, we're going to be talking about a very important topic today, business credit scores. And business credit scores really could be the most valuable asset any business has. Because with good business credit scores, you can easily obtain $200,000, $300,000 or more in real usable credit in the business name. And the best part is that can be done with no personal credit check. So that means you can still get hundreds of thousands of dollars for the business with no personal credit check, even if your personal credit is damaged. And you can get that much with no personal liability, no personal guarantee. So that means you could get hundreds of thousands of dollars for your business without the liability of needing a personal guarantee. So very hot topic. The most valuable asset any business can possess is good business credit scores. And in this webinar, we're going to talk about what they are and exactly how you can obtain excellent business credit scores. So business credit scores are calculated on a 0 to 100 point scale. Now we're going to talk about personal credit scores here in a minute, but it's important to note that business credit scores only range from 0 to 100, and they're used to calculate a business's risk of going late on business obligations within the next 12 months. Again, big difference than personal credit. Personal credit depicts a person's risk of going late within the next 2 years, whereas business credit scores only depict the risk of going late within the next 12 months. Business credit scores can be used for a business to obtain credit for the business with no personal guarantee or no personal credit check. And this is exactly what we talked about just a minute ago. This is the real value of business credit. The fact that you could build business credit even if you have challenged personal credit, and you could build business credit separate from your business credit or separate from your personal credit profile, doubling your borrowing power and making it where you can get a lot of credit without the liability, which is what you really want if you're getting credit for the business. Now, you're probably familiar with your personal credit scores, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And even though you're probably familiar with these names, a lot of people are not familiar with actually how the personal credit score breaks down. Well, personal credit scores range between 350 and 850 points on most credit scoring models, including FICO. And there are 5 main components to the score. The first is payment history, or how you pay your bills. The second is available credit or utilization. The third is length of credit history. Then inquiries and credit mix are both equally 10% of the scores. So personal credit scores are complicated. It really takes years of well-disciplined borrowing to establish a good score because of these factors. Because you need a good credit mix and you need a good length of credit history. You need to have accounts with high limits and good payment history. You have to have all these things to have a good credit score. So because there are so many components and it's so complicated, it really takes most people years to accumulate a good personal credit score. Now, business credit scores are very different because business credit scores are based on only one factor. How have you paid your bills over the last 12 months? If you pay your business bills as agreed or early, you'll instantly establish an excellent score of 80 or higher. So on that 0 to 100 point scale, 80 is an excellent credit score. So if you have 80 or higher, then you're going to have an excellent business credit score. I mean, that's the equivalent of a 740 or higher personal credit. But the difference is that these factors, or that business scores are based on only one factor. How have you paid your bills over the last 12 months? So as long as you have an account, or you have accounts that report that you're paying them as agreed or early, you will have an excellent business credit score. Now, to dig in even deeper, we're going to look at how you can get every score on the business credit score scale. Okay, this is very important because this is a graph, a grid that you'll probably never see again. I mean, this actually breaks down the actual score and tells you whatever score you could have, what it really means. A 100 score, a perfect score, means that you can expect that the payment's going to come early on that account. That's for somebody that is paying their account very early. You get a bill, you're paying it sometimes 2 weeks early. Okay, if you have a 90 score, this means payments generally come early within the discount period. If you have a business credit card and you pay it several weeks early, well, you're going to get a 100 score, as long as you do that with all of your accounts that report. But if you pay it early within the discount period, and by that I mean that creditors will give you a discount period. They'll say if you pay a week early, we'll give you this much of a discount. Well, if you pay early during that discount period, you'd have a 90 score, which is maybe a few days to a week early. If you pay the account as agreed every month, you'd have an 80 score. Okay, so all you need to do to have an excellent score is pay your bills as agreed or early to have an 80 score or higher. On the opposite end, if you pay your bills late, you will have a 70 score lower. If you pay 14 days late, you'd have a 70 score. 21 days late, 60 score. 30 days late would net you a 50 score. If you pay your bills 60 days late, you would come up with about a 40 business credit score. 90 days late's a 30, 120 days late's a 20, and unavailable information is listed as UN. So, pretty simple. The most important thing you need to know is as long as you get business credit report accounts that report to the business credit reporting agencies, and as long as you pay them as agreed or early, you'll have an excellent score. If you start paying them late, depending on how late you pay them, will determine how low your score goes. Okay. Now, there are three main business credit reporting agencies. Dun & Bradstreet is by far the biggest business credit reporting agency. Experian Business is second, and Equifax is third. Now, taking a deeper look, Dun & Bradstreet, they use the main credit score used in the business world. I mean, they are the big dogs. They are the big player, Dun & Bradstreet. And their credit score, known as Paydex, is provided by Dun & Bradstreet and is the biggest, most popular business credit reporting score. As a matter of fact, you might have heard somebody mention to you before, do you have a Paydex score? Do you have an excellent Paydex score? Do you have an 80 Paydex score? All that means is Dun & Bradstreet's credit score, Paydex. Do you have a good credit score? If you have an 80 or higher Paydex, that just means you have good credit with Dun & Bradstreet. The exact definition from Dun & Bradstreet is the D&B Paydex score is D&B's unique dollar-weighted numerical indicator of how a firm paid its bills over the last year based on trade experiences reported to D&B by various vendors. Okay, important to note here. How it's paid its bills over the last year. Remember that credit score is looking at only 12 months of history. Remember personal credit, they look at 2 years of history to score you. Business, they're only looking at how you've paid your bills over the last year. Now, Equifax Small Business Credit Risk Score is another business credit score. And Equifax offers this model, and it's known as the Equifax Small Business Enterprise or Equifax Small Business Credit Risk Score. Now, Equifax has about 22 million business credit files on record, and their score is used to enhance risk assessment by predicting the probability of a new or existing small business customer becoming seriously delinquent on supplier accounts or bankrupt within a 12-month period. And again, you're seeing this 12-month period come up. Equifax does provide both consumer and business credit score models, but both are considerably different. We know that. We just talked a little bit about the difference between personal and business credit scores. Now, Experian's credit score is known as IntelliScore, and Experian is really the second biggest player in the business credit reporting world behind Dun & Bradstreet. They have about 27 million records on file of small businesses, and the items listed on their credit report are listed here. Now, it's important to note that although these are the exact items that report on Experian's report, a lot of these will also report on Equifax and Dun & Bradstreet report. So as I go through this list, keep in mind, a lot of these items are items that are on most business credit reports, including business credit scores and credit summary, key facts about the business, corporate registration and contact information, summaries of collections and payments, uniform commercial code filing information, banking, insurance, and leasing information, bankruptcy judgment, and tax lien filings. All of this information is listed on Experian's business credit report and on most credit reports, even with Equifax and Dun & Bradstreet. So, all that's required for an excellent business credit score is one account on your report that is paid as agreed. Once even one account is reported that you paid it as agreed, you will instantly have an 80 credit score. Okay, if you continue to pay your accounts on time, you'll continue to have an 80 score, and if you pay them early, as we talked about, your score could even climb as high as 90 to 100 points. But even with an 80 score, most merchants will approve you for credit. Remember, 80 indicates you paid as agreed, and as long as you have a score of 80 or higher, you're going to get approved for most business credit that you want. There's really not very many places out there that are going to require that you have a 90 or 100 to approve you. They just want to see you're paying the bills as agreed. So if you have 80 or higher, you're going to get most of what you're looking to get approved for. So how do you establish excellent scores? Well, to establish an excellent score to get approved for business credit, most lenders want to see you have 1 to 3 vendor trade accounts reporting. Now, vendor accounts are creditors who extend you credit on short terms. They then report your account to the business credit or bureaus. Okay, vendors usually will approve you for short-term credit on terms such as net 30. And even if you buy $5 using your credit, they then report the account to the business credit reporting agencies, and your new excellent business credit score will be established. So I'm going to stop on this slide and take a look at this. Vendors are what I call the gatekeepers. They really are. They're the gatekeepers. There's a reason you can't walk into Home Depot today and get approved for a $10,000 account with no personal liability. Now, don't get me wrong, you can. We can show you how to go into Home Depot and get a $10,000 credit card account with no personal liability. But the reason you're not going to be able to just walk in and make that happen is because of vendors. You see, in order for that to happen, they want to see that you have some accounts that are paid as agreed, and they want to see an 80 credit score or higher. So that's the catch-22, right? I mean, how do you get credit if you need credit to get the credit? Nobody will give you the credit. Well, that's called vendor accounts. Vendor accounts are creditors that will give you credit on terms like net 30. They're not revolving. They want paid back in 30 days, okay? But they'll give you credit on net 30 terms, and they report to the business credit bureaus. So they report to Dun & Bradstreet or Experian and Equifax. Okay, this is the combination you need. Remember, you need accounts that you could pay as agreed that report to the business credit bureaus to establish that score. Those are vendor accounts. Okay, so if you get a vendor account, let's say with Radio Shack, and you come in and you buy $5 worth of batteries using your credit, and you pay that $5 back to them, they then report that as paid as agreed to the business credit reporting agencies. Now remember, the $5 doesn't matter, right? There's only one thing that calculates into your business credit score: how you paid the bill. So as long as you paid the $5 back on time or early, that's when you would have an excellent business credit score. And that's how you do it. You come in, you get a handful of vendor accounts, creditors who will give you credit on net 30 terms that report to the business credit reporting agencies. Okay, once you do this, and you use even a little bit of credit to pay it back, then they report to the business credit bureaus, and you instantly have an excellent score established. So once you're approved and you use, let's say, 3 vendor accounts and they report to your business credit report, you establish excellent scores, and most merchants will then approve you for business credit. Now, I mentioned here 3 vendor accounts, and you might say, well, wait, you said 1 before. You need 1 account reporting to get a score. Okay, but they also want to see what we call some depth, which means they don't want to just see 1 account that gave you an 80 score. Really, you're going to get approved for more and more business credit the more accounts you have reporting. So you really want to try to focus on adding at least 3 vendor accounts that will give you the credit score, but they will also give you some depth where other merchants will approve you. Now, most merchants only require an 80 business credit score and 1 to 3 vendor accounts to reporting to approve you. It's important to note, you don't need to have 50 accounts to get approved for a $5,000 credit card. You just need a few accounts reporting. You need to have paid those accounts as agreed and have an excellent score. And if you do that, you're going to get approved for a lot of business credit accounts. So if you have those accounts open and you pay them as agreed, you'll automatically establish the score of 80 or higher and qualify for business credit with a lot of merchants. So, business credit is really credit in your business name. And that's what it is. I mean, business credit is different than personal credit because this is credit in the business name, not in your personal name, it's in your business name. Okay, this is credit based on your business credit profile and score. Remember, this has nothing to do with your personal credit, nothing to do with your personal credit score. It's all based on your business credit profile and score. And you're approved for credit, for business credit, using your business credit profile and scores to qualify, not your personal. It's important to note that. I'm going to stop here because, see, a lot of people come in and say, this is too good to be true. How can I come in and get hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit when my personal credit is damaged? Well, the answer is very simple, because they're not giving you credit. They're giving your business credit. You're being extended credit to your business based on your business credit score and profile. Okay, so once you establish a good business credit profile and score, then you can then leverage the good business credit profile and score to get money. Because you have those built and because that's what's being used for you to be approved, they're not even looking at your personal credit. In most cases, they're not going to look at your personal credit profile or score. They're going to use your business credit profile and score to approve you, and because of that, they don't even need to look at this, which is why even if you have damaged personal credit, you're still going to be okay here. And there's no personal guarantee. That means there's no personal liability for you. This is the holy grail in business. I mean, this is it. In business, your goal should be to be able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business name without you needing to sign on the dotted line, which means you don't have to sign for that debt, which means, let's say you default on $50,000 in business debt. They can't come after you. They can't come after your personal home, your personal bank account, your personal assets. The problem is a lot of people use their personal credit to get credit for their business. That's what they do. They use their personal credit, they get credit cards for the business. Well, the problem is if anything ever happens to that business, they come after the personal assets of that individual. That's a big problem. And in the last few years, when the economy has really shifted, a lot of people have had that problem. They've been wiped out personally because they had all of their business debts in their personal name. Big no-no. And that's what business credit fixes. It gets you credit in the business name, much more credit than you could ever accumulate on the personal side, and this is credit with no personal guarantee. And again, there's no personal credit check as the business credit scores are used to determine the actual approval, not the actual personal credit. Okay, so go ahead and go to the next slide here. My slide is not necessarily working as there we go. Okay. So, with a positive business credit profile and score, you could easily be approved for over $50,000 in business credit within 6 months. Okay, and that's credit with major merchants: Staples, Home Depot, Chevron, Lowe's, hundreds more. Within a year, your business credit profiles and scores will help you secure 100% unsecured credit lines for your business with no personal guarantee, no personal credit check. Let's talk about a reasonable time frame here. You could really build an excellent business credit score in about 30 to 60 days. Once you have that, from 60 days on, you could start accumulating credit. So you could easily get $50,000 in real usable credit within 90 days to 6 months. Within 3 to 6 months, you could have this $50,000 plus. It really depends on how much you want to get, because the only restriction on how much business credit you can accumulate is how much credit you're using and how much credit you're applying for. As long as you keep using the credit, keep paying the payments as agreed, keep applying for more, the sky's the limit. I mean, we have clients that get hundreds of thousands of business credit. We have clients that buy apartment complexes using business credit. Okay, so it's very easy. Even though I'm saying here $50,000 in 6 months, it's really pretty easy to get $50,000 in even 90 days to 6 months, depending on how much you're accumulating and using. And this is credit with major stores. Yeah, I list some here: Staples, Home Depot, Chevron, Lowe's, Walmart. You can also get credit at Costco, BP, Sinclair Gas. You can get credit at Sam's Club. You can get and also get MasterCard and Visa credit. So when I'm saying over $50,000 within 6 months, this doesn't just include store credit. This also includes $10,000 MasterCards and Visas. So there's really two aspects to business credit. There's store credit, which is Staples, Home Depot, Chevron, Lowe's. Credit you can get within stores. And then there's credit like MasterCard and Visa that you could use anywhere. Within 6 months, you could easily and conservatively have $50,000 in credit built, both in major MasterCards and Visas and in store credit built. And within a year, you could get approved for unsecured credit lines. Well, that's really the goal. The goal of building good business credit is where you have a good business credit profile built, you have a good business credit score built, and not only are you building business credit, but you also can then start getting funding. See, a lot of funding, they're going to look at your personal credit, and it's going to be based on your personal credit. But when you have a good business credit profile and score established, you're going to qualify for a lot of funding using the business credit profile and score. And again, that's funding you can get with no personal liability. That should be your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is you want to get business credit. You want to get business funding in the business name with no personal guarantee and no personal liability. And when I talk about business funding, I'm talking about equipment financing and merchant card advances. I'm talking about unsecured credit lines and SBA loans. That type of funding, some of that is definitely possible to get with only the business credit profile and score built once you have those built. Once you have those built, you can start getting even more funding using that business credit profile and score to do so. Okay, so the business funding suite. Now, introducing you to the business funding suite, we have something called a business funding suite, which includes a lot of things. And through this, you can quickly build a positive business credit profile and score and access hundreds of merchants and vendors. So through our system, in a few simple steps, you'll first ensure you have the foundation where you'll be approved. Then your cash portal also interfaces with Experian, Equifax, Dun & Bradstreet, giving you access to your reports and scores right through the cash machine. Okay, this is really nice because with the funding suite, you can come in and you can actually build business credit profile and score right through our system. We actually walk you through step by step the process to help you build the business credit profile and scores. And even in the first few steps initially, we even make sure that you meet all the requirements that they're going to look for. Because when you want business credit, you have to be listed with 411. You need a physical business address. You need a website. You need a domain. You need a physical phone number, a fax number. There's a lot of things you're going to need to make sure you meet the criteria before you'll get approved. And again, most people don't know the criteria. That's why most people don't have business credit. Okay, Entrepreneur.com reported that 90% of business owners don't have business credit because they don't know how to get it set up. What we're going to do is walk you through step by step, help you establish the business credit profile and score. We're going to help make sure you meet the requirements such as 411 listings to make sure you'll get approved when you apply. And through the funding suite, you can also actually interface with Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet. So in real time, you can watch the trade lines, the scores, all that changing on your business credit reports. Now, it's important to note that our funding suite is the only place on the planet Earth that Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet live data stream into. Meaning this is the only place outside of the actual source, such as Dun & Bradstreet themselves, where Dun & Bradstreet will live data stream your report information right into our system. So it's really nice because we walk you through step by step and show you how to build business credit, but we also come in and actually you can monitor in real time your business credit reports right through the system too. Okay, the funding suite also has the largest supply of vendors and merchants that you'll find anywhere in the world. Now that's important because a big thing about business credit is to know where to go to apply. I mean, vendors, nobody knows. Nobody knows where to go where everybody would have this business credit. So we're going to give you a large supply of vendors to help you establish your 80 Paydex score or higher. Then you have a large supply of merchants to go in and get approved. And that's important because once you have an excellent business credit score built, the next step is you really want to have access to the companies that offer you business credit. So let's say here you sit today, you have an 80 Paydex score. Well, great. What are you going to do with it next? Well, I'm going to go apply for credit. Well, who are you going to apply for? You're going to apply for Staples? Great. What is Staples requirements? You don't know. And that's the problem. If you're going in and trying to apply for all these different credit, they all have certain requirements such as 3 trade lines, 5 trade lines, 7 trade lines, 10 trade lines, 80 Paydex. They have certain requirements that you're going to want to meet. Well, through our system, we're not only going to give you the largest supply of vendors and merchants, we're going to explain to you each one of them exactly what they're looking for. So before you even apply, you know you're going to get approved. I mean, it's that simple. If we tell you that Home Depot needs 5 trade lines, an 80 Paydex, and a high of $10,000 on your credit report to approve you for a $10,000 credit card, then we help you meet that criteria. And through the funding suite, you could see that you have 5 trades, you could see you have an 80 Paydex, and you know you got approved for a $10,000 account. Well, now you know you're okay to go in and apply for that card. And all those cards have different requirements. If you go just try to figure out who the merchants are and apply, you're probably not going to get approved. But through our funding suite, we're going to give you a supply of these, and we're also going to help explain to you what they do, how to get approved, so you can choose the best vendor, you can read all the program details, and know exactly how to apply and get approved. And then you can monitor these trade lines being put on your report right through the interface. So right through the funding suite, you can then in real time see the accounts being added and see your score being built. And once you have the trade lines established, you'll then have access to most major merchants who will offer you business credit. And these include a lot of stores and a lot of actual Visa, MasterCard type of credit. Okay, so with our funding suite, you're going to have access to over 400 financing sources available, and each merchant's exact qualifying criteria is listed, so you will know you'll be approved before you even apply. And that's a big part of the goal here, is we don't just want you to apply, we want you to know exactly what the criteria is, so you know you're going to get approved before you even apply. Then you can apply for MasterCards and Visas and store credit like Staples, Home Depot, Lowe's, OfficeMax, Walmart, hundreds more. So again, this will kind of give you a little breakdown where we explain to you what the company sells, who they report to, and exactly the process of getting approved. Okay, you even have a special password on this one on the application to make sure you get approved that we've worked out for you. So it just makes it real easy, because before you even apply, you come in, you read the description of what the company sells, you see who they report to, you know the exact criteria to get approved, and you can get approved. Now, also, business credit's only one of over 30 options available to you through the funding suite. You're also going to have access to SBA loans, unsecured credit lines, equipment financing, merchant advances, account receivable financing, purchase order financing, business revenue lending, merchant credit, even private equity and venture capital funds are available through our system. So again, through our system, not only can you build the business credit, you can also come in and build the business funding. So it's really a good option for you. So over 50% of businesses fail in America, and a lot of it has to do with a lack of funds. So whether you look into our funding suite or start building your own, start building your business credit scores and profile today. And please understand, in this webinar, part of why I'm talking about our funding suite when I'm talking about how you can do certain things is because there's not enough time in the day to explain it to you otherwise. I've given you a pretty good idea in this webinar of what business credit scores, what it takes to build them, the process to build them. The rest is finite details, right? Who are the vendors? What do they sell? Who do they report to? How do you get approved? Who are the business credit sources? What kind of products do they have? What are the exact requirements to get approved? How much can you get approved for? Well, with thousands of merchants, it's impossible in this webinar or even in a video to explain to you and show you all of these hundreds and thousands of merchants and what their criteria is. It's impossible. Okay, so that's what our funding suite does. The reason I'm suggesting that to you is because it will give you access to all this funding. It will help you build the business credit profile and score. It will give you access to monitor your business credit reports live as you're doing it. But most importantly, it gives you access to the hundreds of vendors, the merchants that will approve you for business credit. And it makes it very easy for you in one place to sit down and spend 30 minutes, apply, and get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in real credit. Because it's not hard to do. It's just what's hard is knowing where to go. I mean, if you don't know that Home Depot needs 5 trades and an 80 Paydex and a $10,000 high to approve you, you'll never get approved. But if you come into the portal and you see Home Depot, here's their requirements, you know you meet them, you know you can apply and get approved. Then you might see Lowe's and say, well, Lowe's needs 7 trades and I only have 5 trade lines, so I'm not going to apply there. The benefit of the funding suite is that you can come in, you can see exactly who the business credit sources are, but you can also see exactly what their criteria is to qualify and exactly how to get approved. And with all that spelled out for you, it's very easy for you to log in anytime you want, go find credit. For example, I want a gas card. Well, you can go to BP, you can go to Chevron, you can go to Sinclair Gas, Racetrack. You can get cards at any or all of those places. Let's say you need office supplies. Well, you can get Office Depot and OfficeMax and Staples. If you need home improvement stuff, you can go to Lowe's or Staples. If you want to buy real estate, maybe you're just going to get $10,000 Visas and MasterCards. All that credit's available, and it makes it very easy for you to go in and apply when it's all in one place for you. So that's what makes the funding suite easy for you. But whether you use our funding suite or try to go at it alone, whatever you do, make sure you get started today. Okay? Get access to business credit before you need it. Don't wait until you need it because it takes a few months to build it. So don't wait until you need it. Get started today on building it so that way when you do need it a few months down the road, you have it. And in the process, build a business credit profile and double your borrowing power. It is what it is. You have a personal credit profile that allows you to go out and borrow money. Now with a secondary credit profile built, one for the business, you have double the borrowing power because now you have both a business and a personal credit profile built. And you can build credit in your business name with no personal guarantee. And that's really what's very important. You need to keep your personal finances safe and secure. As a business owner or a potential business owner, if you're looking to start a business, one of the most important things is you want to make sure that your personal finances stay safe from your business obligations. So with building business credit, you can keep your personal finances safe and you can build the credit with no personal guarantee. So it's definitely a big benefit to actually come in and do that. So Business Credit Score Secrets Revealed. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. We tried to keep it under about 30 minutes. And in this, hopefully you now know exactly how business credit scores work, the difference between those and personal credit scores. You've seen a business credit profile, okay? We went through that and we explained to you with the business credit profile how it works, how many trades you need to trade lines to do certain things. We talked about vendor accounts and how vendors are the gatekeepers to first get you that initial 80 or higher Paydex score. We talked about how to get and maintain an 80 to 100 personal credit score. We talked about how to take that and use that to qualify you for funding down the road and $50,000 within the first 6 months and hundreds of thousands of dollars down the road. But most importantly, today we talked about business credit and how it can help you double your borrowing power, how you can get business credit with no personal credit check, and how you can build a business credit profile for your business with no personal liability from you whatsoever. And that's what's really important. So I hope you really enjoyed this webinar. Thank you so much for attending. I hope you got everything out of it that we came to give you. I hope you really have a very good understanding of the differences between personal and business credit, and I hope you have an understanding of how business credit scores work, and most importantly, I hope you have the motivation to go out today and get started on getting business credit and accumulating it and building it for yourself. So thank you so much for attending this webinar. Hope you're having a great day.